That Kevin McCullough.
Welcome back to Times Square. Kevin McCullough, That Kevin Show. Glad to have you with us on Salem News Channel and Biz TV and 300 radio stations. My guest Hogan Gidley and I are talking about the rest of the race, and it's really what, Hogan, 65 days or something until the first ballots from Delaware and others can be cast. I mean, we're talking about a very truncated election cycle for whoever the Democrat nominee is. Do you think there's a remote chance that it's not Kamala Harris, given the allegiance of black women to getting out the vote and making sure that they vote every time? Because they are the one group in the Democratic Party, them and elderly people, they'll go out and vote every single time, rain, snow, whatever, they'll get there. Does she make it all the way through?
I don't know. I think there's absolutely a chance she doesn't, because look, if the precedent is set that your candidate can't win, so we'll just replace you, why wouldn't they just keep putting people up until they find a poll they like and just stick with that person?
But who is that? Who polls against Trump? Newsom doesn't. Michelle Obama doesn't.
Yeah, but look, they'll find somebody that the media can prop up. See, look, don't underestimate the media's power here.
That's true.
They literally removed a sitting president of the United States by talking to Democrats and pushing that message. You're telling me they can't prop up another candidate in just a few months' time with no real pushback because they're going to outspend us 20-1 on television and telling us whoever it is, whether it be Kamala or Gavin or Gretchen, that they're not the best candidate ever, that they're putting country first and they came off the sidelines to save democracy in America. You can just see the script writing itself. It's so offensive on every level. But there's going to be a lot of lifetimes, more like 5 million lifetimes between now and November. A lot can happen. And so the Democrats are going to get it settled one way or the other in the next several weeks. And then we got a race. And it comes down to the blocking and tackling at the local level. This is clearly a race that's going to have to do with turnout apparatus, poll watcher, poll worker, voter mobilization, voter registration, ballot chasing, ballot harvesting where legal. That's what this is about. And Democrats have typically been much better than Republicans at the nuts and bolts, the blocking and tackling needed to win elections. So regardless of the flying high after this convention and the string of good news stories and good cycles, we still have to understand it's a race we have to win. I mean, think about it like this. Donald Trump in a reelect, no president ever has gotten more votes in a reelect than their first election. He got 14 million more votes and lost. That's insane.
Yeah. So Obama got fewer votes. Bush got fewer votes. Clinton got fewer votes. Reagan got somewhere, I think, around the same number of votes.
Sure.
But I think it was technically still fewer. And yet Trump got millions more, which just, I mean, come on. That 81-year-old beat him. Come on.
Come on.
The
mail-in stuff isn't happening. It's going to kind of regress back to the norms, I think. But we still have to be prepared for how you actually do the things necessary.
I think between the courts deciding that a lot of those COVID protocols were unconstitutional and the fact that the GOP is sharpening its game on legal harvesting where it is legal, and that's something that Laura Trump has preached one end of the country to the other, that where Republicans are allowed to do it, they're going to do it as invigorated as the other side is. Of course, one thing to say, it's another thing to do it. But I am hopeful that a couple of those changes will affect that dynamic.
You hope so. Look, Wisconsin just passed the Supreme Court. A law came out of the Supreme Court that said you could have these unmonitored drop boxes everywhere. But that flies in direct disagreement with settled state law. They don't even care. That's what I'm saying. They're just going to do these things. The Supreme Court largely being Democrat run in the state of Wisconsin. So again, it comes down to the legislatures have the backbones in these states to stand up and say, hold on a second. We're the ones who decide the time, manner, and place of election stuff. The courts don't. The rogue governors don't. Attorneys general, et cetera. We fell for it in 2020. We're not going to fall for it again. They're going to have to step up. And there are a lot of
interesting. It is interesting in that I am watching the daily running average of the polls. And if you do it on Real Clear polls, they also, for this date in history, they go back to 2020 and 2016. And it's important to note that Biden was up consistently 6 to 8 points in their real clear average. Hillary was up 2 to 3 points consistently in 2016, and Trump is ahead 3 to 7 points on average in the polling right now. So it is. I think there is, and I still think Trump polls lower than he shows. Like I always think that they're gonna get a few fewer responses for him than what are really represented out there. But when you see union heads, when you see former Democrats apologizing from the Republican National Convention stage, it is a remarkable time period. Hogan, always appreciate your insights. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks, Kevin.
Stick around for more of That Kevin. Next, That Kevin Show with Kevin McCullough.